The Midnight Guest. In the small, sleepy town of Hollow Creek, there was an old mansion at the edge of the forest that everyone avoided. Its once grand facade was now weathered and sagging, and rumors of its haunted past kept townsfolk at a distance. One chilly autumn night, as the full moon cast an eerie glow over the landscape, a young woman named Clara, who had recently moved to town, found herself curious about the mansion. She had heard the tales but was determined to see the old place for herself. With a flashlight and a sense of daring, she approached the mansion's creaking front door. Inside, the air was thick with dust and decay. The wooden floors groaned under her weight, and cobwebs dangled from the corners of the ceiling. Clara explored room after room, finding only the remnants of a bygone era: faded wallpaper, broken furniture, and shattered mirrors. In the dining room, she came across a long, dusty table set with an old-fashioned tea service. A chill ran down her spine as she noticed that the plates were meticulously arranged, as if waiting for guests. It seemed out of place amidst the surrounding ruin. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was not alone. Her flashlight flickered. As she adjusted it, Clara saw a figure in the dim light. A man dressed in outdated formal attire standing by the window. His face was obscured, but the way he stood so still made her heart race. "Hello?" Clara called, her voice trembling. The figure didn't move. She took a step forward, but before she could get closer, the man turned and disappeared through a door at the end of the hallway. Clara followed cautiously, her breath visible in the cold air. She entered the room to find it empty, save for an old grandfather clock ticking softly in the corner. The clock's hands pointed to midnight. She could hardly believe her eyes when the room's temperature seemed to drop even further. Just then, a soft, sorrowful melody began to play, as if from an unseen piano. Clara's eyes darted around, searching for the source. The music seemed to be coming from the attic, which Clara had avoided earlier. With her curiosity outweighing her fear, Clara ascended the narrow staircase to the attic. The melody grew louder with each step, filling the air with a melancholic tune. At the top of the stairs, she found an old trunk in the center of the room, with the music emanating from within it. Trembling, Clara opened the trunk to reveal an old, ornate music box. The music played on, but as she looked closer, she saw a photograph inside the box. An old, sepia-toned image of a family seated around a dinner table. They looked just like the people from the dining room. Then the music suddenly stopped. The room fell silent, except for the sound of Clara's quickening breath. A soft whisper floated through the air, chilling her to the bone. "Welcome, my dear, to the midnight supper." The temperature plummeted, and Clara felt an icy hand grasp her shoulder. Spinning around, she saw the figure from before, his face now visible. His eyes were hollow, and his expression was one of eternal sadness. Before Clara could react, the clock struck midnight, and the room was plunged into darkness. The whispers grew louder, more urgent, as if a crowd of unseen guests were demanding her presence. The music box snapped shut on its own, and the melody ceased. When Clara finally gathered the courage to leave, she raced down the stairs and out of the mansion, vowing never to return. The next day, she learned that the mansion had been abandoned for over 50 years. The townsfolk spoke of a tragic family who had once lived there, doomed to hold eternal dinners at the stroke of midnight. To this day, Clara never forgets that night. Whenever the clock strikes midnight, she hears the faint strains of that haunting melody and remembers the midnight guest who invited her to join a meal she would never forget.